What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Comic Relief, episode 24. But first, before we get into it, I got something that's really bothering me. ASMR videos. Why? This is okay. The reason.
ASMR bothers you?
Okay, so the reason I bring this up is because for the last maybe I'd say 3-4 months or so,
Mm-hmm.
I'll get done with my personal stream and go, get ready for bed, and then out of nowhere, I'll just hear, "Okay, so first I'm gonna go ahead." I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" And it didn't really bother me truly until the other night after we were playing Phasmophobia. And all of a sudden, I just hear some random fucking whispering after brushing my teeth. I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" I'm like freaking the fuck out. I just
tried to reach you, but your car's extended.
Stop. I fucking hate it, dude. I hate it. And
Apparently, I'm glad I have that knowledge now.
I hate it but I mean, apparently it helps Jackie fall asleep. But I'm just like, can't you just be normal and listen to the sound of rain falling or something like that, or even whale noises? I've seen whale noises be a thing, but
Can't fall asleep without my whale songs.
Exactly. But anyway, good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 24 of Comic Relief, the live weekly talk show for all things comics, their on-screen adaptations, and everything in between here on the Box Network, the new talk show network covering comic, horror, anime, and music news. If you're joining us live on Twitch, please note that alerts are muted as not to disrupt the flow of the show, but will be acknowledged at the soonest opportunity. If you're watching us on YouTube, an easy way to show your love and support is to make that YouTube algorithm happy by giving this video a like, share, and subscription to the Box Network. If you'd like to stay up to date with upcoming shows and news, join us on Discord or follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Links will be in the description box down below. But for now, on with the show. We are your hosts. I'm Xander.
And I'm Jagger, and tonight we are changing up the format. Comic Relief is going to have a new way of doing things from here on out. So let us know in the comments or in chat your thoughts on the show moving forward. Today we'll be talking about representation in comic book adaptations, past, present, future, and what we've been getting into in the past week. For those of you joining live, feel free to hit us with any of your thoughts, opinions, and or questions on our topic. But first, we've got some news. Xander,
We got news. We got nerd news. First up, a new IMAX trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home shows that guy is not Charlie Cox. Now, this doesn't debunk Charlie Cox's involvement just yet, but unfortunately, that was not him in the trailer. In a recent interview, when asked about his involvement in No Way Home, Charlie Cox said, quote, "I wouldn't want to ruin something either way. Everyone, myself included, is just going to have to wait and see what happens," end quote.
That makes me feel like he filmed stuff, but he doesn't know if it's in the movie or not.
Yeah. They've been very sneaky about the way they're doing things. But yes, unfortunately, Husky, yes, the white man in the white suit top was not the guy. Unfortunately.
He wasn't the guy.
Yeah.
Let's see. So DC's animated Injustice film is set to arrive on Blu-ray and digital formats on October 19th of this year. I did not realize that it was going to be a straight to DVD release, but I'm happy that it is because it means I don't have to wait super long for it.
Mm-hmm.
Also staying in DC news, an interview with the director of Wonder Woman, Patty Jenkins. She claimed that movies released by streaming services look like fake movies. I don't know what that means.
Shots fired. So basically what she's saying is movies released by Netflix originals, HBO Max originals, even though technically hers it was technically an HBO Max original. Essentially she's saying that going straight to streaming services, this is a fake movie. It's not like your big blockbuster hit. She's almost equating it to straight to DVD movies.
I don't know. I have found that some of the straight to Netflix movies have actually been better than some of the studio releases.
I agree. But damn, shots fired, Patty.
Yeah. Currently, my favorite horror movie of this year has been Fear Street, and that was straight to Netflix.
Dude, I still need to watch that.
You should. It's good. It's a good 3-part.
Well, and I love the idea of a period piece. And I like how they kind of go back in time. They started with 94, then was it the 80s or 70s?
70s. It was
70s.
94,
Okay.
78, and 1666.
Okay. Yeah, that seems pretty cool.
Yep.
I want to check
It,
that
it
out.
was it was well done. I loved it, all start to finish.
Let's see. Recent reports have confirmed, Jesus Christ, this movie, that Venom
Yeah.
2 will still carry a PG-13 rating based on the official trailer. They will definitely be pushing the bounds of that rating, and the release date has been updated yet again
Thanks
to
to Shang-Chi.
October 1st. So it's been brought up. I
Yep.
I am very nervous about this movie
So
because of all the changes, and yet
so here's the
nothing has been
thing.
said as to why.
So they did release why that they've been keeping the release date loose. They originally were going to delay it again because they didn't know how the current state of going in public was going to affect movie ticket sales.
Okay.
Um, they also didn't want to have to compete with a horror film in fall because originally it was supposed to
Um.
come out the same day as Halloween Kills,
Ooh, that'd be
and
rough.
that was kind of a death sentence for them at that point because it's like half and half. Like if I had my choice, I'm going to see Halloween. Clearly,
Really? Really?
yes,
I could.
hundred
I
percent.
couldn't. I couldn't. I couldn't tell. By
I
the way,
don't
what is
know.
that behind you? You want to
That's
speak on that real quick?
oh, that's Mount Scaremore.
Mount
Uh,
Scaremore. I
Mount
love it.
Scaremore, the Mount Rushmore of horror, painted by my lovely wife Meg. It is
Oh
it
man,
is paint on a brick a fake brick wall,
a fake brick wall.
fake brick wall.
Oh man, I love it. I love it.
But anyway, so they decided to push the date of the movie up because Shang-Chi did so well. So Sony
Ah,
decided, hey,
yes.
let's lock in the date. We'll do October 1st. And then this officially locks in Spider-Man No Way Home because there was rumors that it was going to get pushed back.
Okay.
So with Shang-Chi being as successful as it was, it locked in those two movies. So
That's
happy
good to
about that.
hear. That's good
Yeah.
to hear. What else you got for us?
We got Jason Momoa revealing 2 new suits for the upcoming Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom movie, directed by James Wan. The one being the iconic classic orange and teal suit, and another one is supposed to be a stealth suit, sort of adapted from the '80s blue suit from the comics. That one, it was the one that gave him the ability to camouflage. So I'm
Yeah, and
thinking,
also as Husky adds in chat, we also have a reveal of King Orm or former King Orm.
yes,
Yeah, and he looks like Tom Hanks in Castaway.
yeah, he does. I did see that a little while ago.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how this movie plays out. Any thoughts?
Um,
Any thoughts
um,
from the DC fandom? I'm completely blind here.
so I'm still iffy about whether I'm going to support the film or not.
Hmm.
Um, they did not cancel Amber Heard's contract for the
Yep,
film,
I remember that.
so she's still attached, and I don't want to support anything she's in, to be honest with you.
Team Depp.
So, Team Depp, because that's a very serious topic. Like,
Yeah.
as much as I love Jason Momoa and as much as I want to support James Wan because he's one of my favorite directors, I it's too serious of an issue for me to ignore the fact that she's still attached to the project. So
Yeah.
that may be one film that I boycott.
And I do not judge you at all for that. Last bit of news here: the Russo brothers and Disney have reportedly hit an impasse over negotiations for them to direct a new MCU movie due to the ongoing Black Widow lawsuit, which is highly unfortunate because the Russo brothers are known for making some of the best MCU films to date, starting with Winter Soldier. That was, I mean, prior to Shang-Chi, that was my favorite MCU film. So,
I think this may be a kind of a blessing in disguise
mhm.
because if you think about it, the MCU is going through waves. It's going through
You're right.
changes. It had its early comic book era adaptations with Whedon's it takes on things, Joss Whedon, John Favreau, those kind of directors, and then towards the end of it got the Russo brother treatment. We had our Russo brothers Avengers movies. I think we're moving past that kind of feel. So I
Yeah.
think we need to evolve and bring in some other directors, potentially ones that are experienced with sci-fi, because a lot of the MCU stuff is heading towards space and a lot of the cosmic properties. So I mean, bring in somebody
Yeah.
like, I mean, if we're going big budget, like unlimited budget, bring in someone like James
Ooh.
Cameron,
Oh shit.
maybe
Imagine that.
Ridley Scott,
I would
J.J.
I
Abrams.
would like to see a Ridley Scott MCU film, honestly.
Could you imagine Ridley Scott doing Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness,
Holy shit.
a cosmic
They better
sci-fi comic book thriller?
they better make that shit rated R right now.
Right, it'd be sick. I mean,
Oh my
Ridley
god.
Scott could even do it PG-13 because Prometheus was PG-13.
That's true. That's true.
So he can do spooky and scary on a PG-13 budget.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah, I do agree with that. Plus it seems like right now, kind of moving away from the Russo brothers, right now the focus was kind of on John Watts and Taika Waititi as kind of like the big directors for this next phase. Um, let's see here. Yep. We're gonna do some quick changes real quick. Jagger, talk the ears off of the people here.
Talk the
What
ears
have you
off.
been up to
Oh God,
recently this past week?
shoot, comic book wise or life wise? Because I've got a good
You
hefty
know what?
dose of both.
I'm gonna quote Star Lord here in a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. So this project that I'm in now has been what most of my last week has been taken up with. This was a spare room that had a lot of storage stuff in it, and I spent a lot of time cleaning this out, repainted the walls, put the wallpaper on here. We painted this mural on Sunday, and then I
Okay.
moved everything in here from my old office on Monday and got myself all wired up and ready to go. So I spent a good bit of time doing that.
That sounds
Um,
tiring. I was
it's
actually thinking about doing some feng shui with my office too, and I was just like, I just I can't bring myself to do it again. I might do it this weekend. Who knows?
Yeah, it's an arduous process, and I'm in no way done because I mean you might be able to hear a little bit of echo. The room's kind of dim. The only thing I have is I have a little vintage light bulb over there, and I have my little spotlight, so I'm a
Oh,
little
okay.
bit dark. I have some stuff on order that's going to be behind here. I still have lights to put in. I'm gonna have a nice little feng shui background, just like Xander over there, but it's gonna be horror. So I'm still it's a work in progress. Plus, I still have to get Meg set up in here because it's a joint
Oh yeah.
office. So she's gonna be over there on the other side of me.
Well, I'm excited for you, dude.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's tiring, but
Hmm.
it's worth it for sure. The payoff is great.
Let's see here. In chat, Husky says he's excited to see Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom, seeing where Juan is gonna take it with the potentially including more of a horror aspect to it.
See that is another reason why I'm kind of on the fence about the film because as much as Juan says he wants to do that, Juan is very much and this is his major downfall. He's very much a studio sucker.
Yeah.
If the studio says dial back the horror, he will.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because he wants to keep the money rolling in, which is smart for him. I mean, he's not going to risk his contract on things, but as much as I would like to see a little bit more of a horror aspect to Aquaman, I don't think it's going to hold true. I think they're going to give him his first. He's going to give him their first cut, and they're going to be like, it's not going to read well. We need to be lighter. It's going to get the Zack Snyder treatment again. They're going to try and redo the cut of the film, and it's not going to be what Juan wanted. And then we're going to be back in the same old song and dance where the studio is messing up more and more movies.
You gotta love it, and by that I mean you don't have to love it. You can boycott
No,
it. You can say no. Show Warner Brothers that they're fucking up. Don't go
right.
to see their movies.
But
um,
to briefly wrap up the what I've been into comic book wise, I'll briefly run through what I've been reading. Uh, Continually reading Spawn. Todd McFarlane came out with a new series called King Spawn, which I got the premium bundle for,
of
which is
course.
oh my god amazing. Like the fact that he's expanding the Spawn universe this late in the game is crazy. Because I mean, just last month or 2 months ago he released Spawn Universe, while still in the 300s of Spawn, and then he released King Spawn, and then in a couple months he's releasing Gunslinger Spawn. So all these side characters from the Spawn series are getting their own storylines, and they're great.
Oh, that's sick.
So I've been reading that. I've been reading Noctera, which is a fun one. Department of Truth, which is a more of a dystopian sci-fi horror one. Um, and then I've been looking into getting into some of the DC horror brand stuff because now DC has different labels underneath of them. So they
Mhm.
have the DC Comics, which is their normal stuff. They have DC Black Label, which is their noir stuff, and then they have DC Horror, which is like their actual horror comics. So
So like for like Swamp Thing and stuff like that.
no, Swamp Thing got
Really?
moved to DC Black Label. DC
Oh, interesting.
Horror started with a Conjuring comic book, so it's a movie
Oh, okay.
it's a
So
movie tie-in
like
comic book.
straight up horror.
Oh yeah, it's straight up horror, not even like horror esque. It's like straight up horror comics,
Oh
and I'm
shit.
about it. It's well done. They're well done. The art style's great.
Nice.
Like the cover, like they have the classic cover, and their special edition cover is like the old school '80s VHS with the little horror sticker on it.
Oh, that's
It's got like
cool.
it's got like the faded cover and the scratch marks on it and everything. It's super dope. I'm a
Yeah,
fan.
from a designer standpoint, that I'm all for that. I love that.
Yeah, I'll have to send you a picture on Instagram or something.
Hell yeah. For
What
me, I've actually
what are you
been
into?
carrying on with Marvel's What If. It got dark this week. Did you see it?
Um, was it the Doctor Strange episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the Doctor Strange episode.
Oh my god, dude. I was not expecting that. It was like
It was a sad
kind of
one.
kind it was kind of body horror too. I was not
Yeah,
expecting that. I was like, "Yo, this is nutty."
yeah,
And it was quite honestly the darkest one. Like I thought, you know, the week prior, Hulk bursting like a fucking pimple.
yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was dark enough, but no, they went even more.
No, they
Uh,
went even further beyond.
oh my god.
Yeah, if you haven't been keeping up with Marvel's What If, you need to because
Yeah.
I think it's gonna start tying into the events that are happening
I
in the
think it
actual
already
MCU.
sort of has with this last week's episode
I think so too.
because
Um,
my theory is the fact that so what they've been gearing towards is that there have been so many of these different properties that are dealing with multiversal events or
mhm.
universe breaking events in a way to where I think especially, hold on, let me go ahead and give a spoiler alert real quick.
Oh yeah, you should probably do that.
Get that one out of the way. Cool. I will say that I lost my train of thought. No, I'm pretty sure because like they've been syncing up the ending of WandaVision to Loki to
Hmm.
and then I'm assuming that apparently that the moment that the universe collapses in on itself
Hmm.
in this last week of What If, I think that will probably match up with also No Way Home with the Wish spell or whatever, the memory erasing spell, and like all these different events happening all at the same time. That's what
Yeah,
causes this huge multiversal clash.
yeah.
Why the
I
fuck
think
am I?
they're layering a lot of stuff on top of each other over a
Mm-hmm.
long period of time.
Mm-hmm. And
So
even
and it's
also spoiler
clever.
alert for Shang-Chi, the moment he destroys the dweller in the dark,
Oh yeah.
and activates the full power of the rings, I guess that's what people are
I have
talking
my own
about now.
theory on that one, but we'll get into it.
Okay, so we have already touched on the fact that we've both seen Shang-Chi.
Yes,
For the
naturally.
viewers out there, we have seen Shang-Chi. If you haven't yet, I already played the spoiler alert. I'm not pushing the button again as much as I like to push buttons. This is your
I,
spoiler alert. We will be talking Shang-Chi, which leads us to our main kind of topic here is
mhm.
representation in comic adaptations. Now, I do want to start with just like a brief kind of talk on Shang-Chi. What were your thoughts on the movie?
I think it was great. I I have some controversial opinions about the whole deal. A lot
Okay.
of people online have been comparing it to saying like this is the Asian community's Black Panther. I will agree. However, I think, and it's hard to say it because it was a great movie. I think Black Panther was overhyped, and I think Shang-Chi was underhyped. And I think they both deserved the same amount of hype.
Okay.
I think they're both fairly on par with each other as far as like action, plot, character development, representation of a culture. Um, I also like how in Shang-Chi you got the different levels of Asian culture. Like you have the traditional Asian family living in the city, which you see with Katie's family. You see Katie, who's very Americanized in her culture and her habits. And then you get Shang-Chi, who's going by Sean at the beginning of the film, who is kind of Americanized himself, but he's still deep rooted in what his mother taught him. And then you see his sister, who's still very in deep with like the Chinese underground and that style of culture with like the graffiti art and the underground fight ring and all that jazz. I like that they spread out their representation. It wasn't like centrally focused like Black Panther was. Black Panther was very much Wakanda and Wakandan culture, and then you get a little bit of branching out with Killmonger. I think Shang-Chi did a good job of blending all the different types of subculture within the Asian community.
I would agree with that. I will say, based on the hypeness of each movie, I will say on behalf of something like Shang-Chi, speaking as an Asian American myself, and what I've encountered throughout my life, is that Asians, for the most part, aren't like ones to hype things.
Yeah.
We kind of are a little bit more reserved in that respect. And this goes back to I had a conversation with Sledge 315 from Virus Co. And he had the same thing to say. Like when it comes to like big things, like, and I get this shit from my wife whenever like she has something exciting or Lydia has something exciting. I'm like, oh, cool. And like, where's your enthusiasm? That was my enthusiasm.
This is my excited face.
So I can kind of see that might be something that plays into it a bit.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with the fact that they definitely did a great job of kind of capturing all facets of Asian culture and Asian American culture and subculture and all that.
I also like that they touched on the fact that like Sean and Katie were talking about it, how they were bullied throughout school, just for the fact that they were Asian, and it was kind of a needed touch on the topic because of what all that's happening here lately, in
Yeah.
like Twitch community and online and everywhere else. It's
Yeah.
been crazy.
Yeah, and
So it was
that
kind
one
of perfect timing on that one.
was a funny one for me because growing up, I was in that weird realm where, so for those who don't know, my last name is not Asian, it's not white, it's Hispanic. I have a Hispanic last name, but I'm not Filipino. Uh, and so to keep it pretty simple, everyone else was just about as confused about my heritage as I was. And so I did not really fit well with either communities. That's why I guess I kind of fell in with the quote unquote outcasts that listen to angry music. But no, I get
love us
that.
angry music lovers.
Yeah, there were actually a lot of moments in the movie that I was trying to hold back tears, because like given the fact that I mentioned that I was very confused growing up with my heritage, there were moments of dialogue between Auntie Nan and Shang-Chi when she's teaching him their like fighting style, which was loosely based on like Tai Chi. And she says words like, "I know who I am. Do you?" And like when she said that, I was like, "Huh, shit." And I was like picking
words cut deep.
I was like picking up on like this underlying like theme of learning to accept who you are, because Shang-Chi was battling with that, like my father's this really bad person and stuff like that, and like and he couldn't really accept the fact that like this is my father, and then she says like I'm paraphrasing here, but you are everyone that came before you. You are the good and the bad. You are your mother, but you're also your father. And essentially take that and own that shit, and make it your own. And like when she said that, I was like, I'm like sitting here, I'm like trying not to like bawl my eyes out because I got Susie Q over here live tweeting the entire fucking time. I'm just like,
Oh my god.
get off your damn phone, you fucking rat bastard. It was like,
Yeah, rat bastard.
it sucked too because like I thought I was gonna have free reign to express myself emotionally this entire time throughout the movie because there's no one sitting next to us. There's like 5 empty seats, and then all of a sudden midway through the movie, these teenage girls just show up out of nowhere with someone's aunt, and I'm just like, oh my god. I'm like, fuck this. But that's
Ruin my movie experience. Why don't you with your
I
live
know.
tweeting and your flim flam?
I'm such an old man now.
You, you and me both. I
Oh
got
god.
irritated too.
Oh
I had the
god.
same thing, but like we went on a Sunday matinee, so like our theater was like fairly packed in certain areas.
Hmm.
Like we sat down and we had like the 2 seats on either side of us clear, and we were like, okay, cool. And then like as the trailers start rolling in, um, a man and his wife comes in and walks past us. It's right next to Meg, and she's just like, so I still have my section open. And then this dad with his kid walks in, sits next to me. I'm just like, damn it. So now
Fuck
we're like crammed in
people.
here, and we're just like, shit, people. I didn't want to go in public and deal with people. I wanted to go watch a movie and eat my
Right.
snacks.
But we do have to thank those people because
Yes.
thankfully Shang-Chi broke Labor Day weekend records with a
Yep.
$71.4 million at the box office opening
Yeah.
weekend.
A
That
little
is
bit of trivia.
insane.
Do you know what movie it beat out? You know what movie held the record before it?
It was Fast and Furious, right?
No. For
Which
Labor
one
Day
was it?
weekend opening? It's my
I'm
boy.
trying to.
It's
Oh,
Rob Zombie.
yes, that's right. I saw something
Rob
else
Zombie's Halloween.
about Fast. No, you know what? It was because I was looking up stats about post-pandemic releases.
Yeah,
That's what I
it
was
was.
looking at.
It's Labor Day weekend record was held by Rob Zombie's Halloween at like 68 million. I want to say.
That's insane.
Yeah,
That's fucking
for
insane.
for a horror movie on Labor Day weekend, that's a massive release.
That's. I feel like that's unheard of. Like,
It kind of is.
oh man.
Um, yeah, but I like Husky's point that he made a little bit ago. He said Black Panther had nothing but a huge promotion and so on and so forth. Shang-Chi was being led to be a flop. And that kind of leads into what you were telling me a little bit ago about I don't want to butcher his name, Simu Liu.
Simu Liu.
Simu Liu. Okay.
Mhm.
You want to tell them about what you were telling me about his photo shoot thing?
Yes. So, way back in 2014, which this is actually the same year that he tweeted out to Marvel and talking about an Asian-led superhero.
Yeah.
But I digress. In 2014, Simu had done a photo shoot for stock photos for $100 just to make just to make quick cash. I had actually seen this. I want to say either earlier this year or like late last year. Um, I remember seeing like him talk about it and stuff like that because he was on an interview for Kim's Convenience and he had mentioned that he had done this and I was like that's kind of hilarious. And I actually saw Boss Logic. He posted a rendition of it today with it's the same stock photos but he's wearing the 10 rings. It's kind of funny.
I like that.
It's funny, but like I saw people commenting on it, like a whole bunch of people commenting on it saying, oh my god, I used this like a few years back when I had a client for this, that, and the other thing, and I had to make a banner for them or some shit like that. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. But he actually ended up posting one of them today, the one where he's like laughing at the computer or some shit, and he was like me laughing at all the people who thought it was gonna flop.
What's funny about that is Simu Liu's actually an accountant, and the
Mm-hmm.
photo that he tweeted out is the cover of his accounting textbook that he's on,
Yep.
which I find hysterical because it's like he does this stock photo shoot, becomes an accountant, uses the textbook that his stock photos were used on, and now he's a big MCU star. All
Talk
because he
about a
tweeted,
glow up.
all because he tweeted at Marvel in 2014. Like,
Mm-hmm.
imagine that is the poster boy for shoot your shot.
Yeah. He was like, the original post was, was like, good job on Captain America. Now how about an Asian-led superhero or something like that?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then I think like a few months later he posted, "Hey Marvel, are we going to talk about Shang-Chi?" And
yeah.
then eventually when he actually got contacted about it, he tweeted a reply to that second tweet, and he was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, right. And now look at it, 7 years later,
I
and
know, dude.
it's
God,
crazy.
it's such a
It's
good movie too,
amazing.
and
It's
the
amazing because
choreography too. The choreography, we gotta give it
yeah,
up to the late Brad Allen,
yeah.
who I actually just found out earlier today. If you guys are familiar with Kung Fu Dad on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
um, Kung Fu Dad taught Brad Allen.
Really?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
taken
that's
aback. I was
cool.
like, no fucking way.
That's
Yeah, so
dope.
Kung Fu Dad on TikTok. He that's not his actual handle. I'll look for it, and I'll even put it in the description box on YouTube. But he posted a sort of ad for Shang-Chi, and it was like a slideshow reel of, his upbringing with wushu kung fu,
Mm-hmm.
and his teachings, and he actually showed that Brad Allen was one of his students. Brad Allen was
Oh.
also the choreographer for many of the Jackie Chan films
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, and you get a glimpse of that in the bus fight scene when he's using he's very good at using his resources and his environment around him,
Yeah,
like taking off the jacket and using
the
that as
jacket
a
fighting, the jacket fight was definitely signature Jackie Chan. Like
yeah.
I saw it right away. I'm like, that feels like Jackie Chan moves right
Yep,
there.
I
And there were a
loved every
couple,
bit of it.
and like I think the first thing I said to you after I got out of the film, I was like, I don't feel like I watched a Marvel film. I feel like I watched the new Jet Li film
Yeah, it
because
was
like
that
the
good.
way it was great. Like it felt like I was watching a big budget kung fu flick with
Yeah.
like sprinkles of Marvel in there.
Well, and that's another testament to Bill Pope and his
Mm-hmm.
work. Uh, he's known well for the Matrix, which
Yeah.
we get a lot of like little bits and pieces of that, especially
Mm-hmm.
during the um, was it the initial fight scene between Wen Wu and who is to be his wife, the mother of
Yep.
Shang-Chi and Xialing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, very, very much straight up wuxia is, I believe, the proper name for those films like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It
That's right.
was just an all over amazing film, and even to this day, Simu Liu and the actress that portrayed Jai Ling, they've been sharing some of their behind the scenes choreography practice. Oh my god, these people I I am thoroughly convinced that Simu Liu himself could fight circles around anyone in the armed forces right now. Just about
Probably.
like
I mean, they
the
did say that their
training that
training was super intensive.
yeah, like they're going 110% speed, like just like and landing these blow. I'm like, oh god, teach me. Just I just want to go so I can learn. I don't even want to
Mhm.
be in the fucking movie. I just want to learn.
You just want to learn how to do that stuff.
Yeah, it's so sick, so
Okay.
sick. But
So
but
we've broken down the film.
yeah.
We both agree that this and Black Panther are both successful representation films, correct?
Yes, and in fact, for Black Panther, I wanted to have a couple of excerpts from people of that community. So we actually have a couple of excerpts from the Box Zone, Coop and Charles. We're gonna start off with Charles here. He said, hearing that there was going to be a Black Panther movie made me drop everything I was doing that day. I was already excited to see him show up in Civil War, but then to hear that he would get his own movie, excited would have been an understatement. Not only would I get to see one of the most influential black comic book characters get his own movie, but the director, producer, and most of the cast were black. Never would I have thought that I would go to see a movie of this size be just filled with people who look just like me. Then we go to see the movie in theaters with my immediate family. My family doesn't exactly watch superhero films. They just watch them if it comes on TV, but even they were excited to see this film. At the end of the movie, I had tears in my eyes, not only from the story, but just how good everyone did in this movie. At the end of the day, Black Panther meant a lot to me, from the cast of actors who looked like me, to the people behind the scenes. It showed that the world that black made films can not only be popular, but critically good as well. Which I mean, a lot of those statements align very well with me and Shang-Chi. And
Right.
even when I spoke on the Good Kraken show with Ernell, it's almost synonymous.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have from Coop. As a lifelong nerd, comic book fan, and black man, seeing Black Panther for the first time was an experience that I grew up not knowing I needed because I'd kind of grown up callous to the idea that there might not be a hero on a stage that big that I go look at and go, wow, a hero that looks like me. See, there we go. Another case of representation as the main character. Talking about the MCU here, I'd be remiss not to bring up our boy Blade, but Black
Yeah.
Panther was just a completely different experience. The MCU had become one of the most massive entertainment platforms on Earth by this time, so the experience was definitely transformative. The emotion that there now existed, not just a hero, but an entire new world of folks that not only I could look at, but kids could look to and feel represented by was just. Oh, hold on, how did he write that? Well, it was just overwhelming. A tear-jerking moment for sure. Not only that, but seeing different facets of my culture represented. Seeing not only this wondrous place, Wakanda, but also seeing the struggle of Black Americans on screen was amazing. Black Panther as a whole was such a unifying force for the Black community. The film somehow took not feeling represented at all in the same spaces to feeling like we absolutely belonged as much as anyone else. And now we weren't the only ones who knew it. It was beautiful. It made me hopeful for the future of adaptations on a scale when it came to people of color, and that we could continue to see more ground broken in this manner. With the meteoric success of Shang-Chi, I'm glad that feeling is being validated for more people. I couldn't have said that better myself. Those are
Yeah.
all the same feelings that I've had towards Shang-Chi as well.
Yeah. So we now finally live in a world where we can get these kind of films because over the years we've gotten some.
We live in a society. I'm sorry, you said that, and I.
We live in a world. Um no,
My
like
brain went there.
I was doing a little digging earlier, and like I was looking into like black led superhero films. Majority of them are either very C-list heroes that like never really got a comic run, or they're parodies. Like Screen Rant has a list of the 10 best black superhero movies ranked according to Rotten Tomatoes.
Mhm.
I'm going to go through the list pretty quickly. Number 10, we have Steel, starring
Yeah, I was gonna
Shaquille
say Steel.
O'Neal. It has a 12% approval rating. A Bar, the first black Superman from 1977, 17% approval rating. It was the first on-screen portrayal of a black superhero, and it was a horrible movie. It was a black exploitation film, and that's what it was used for. Next, we have Spawn from 97. I will defend this movie to my dying breath. I don't care that it has a 17% approval rating. Um, Next, we have Blank Man, a parody from Damon Wayans and David Allen Greer. It was literally just poking fun at black people, and 19% approval rating. Number 6, another exploitation film, The Meteor Man from 93, 29% approval rating. Number 5, we have Hancock, which is the Will Smith film. It's 41% approval rating. This is where we kind of take the upswing into potentially good representation films, starting with Hancock. Um, then at number 4, we have Blade from 98, 56%. Number 3 is Slight from 2016 at 78%. This was a Sundance film.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Fast Color, 81%, which is a South by Southwest film.
Mhm.
And then at number 1 with 96% is Black Panther.
Yep.
So you got to think there's only two characters on this list that are famous: Black Panther and Blade.
Mhm.
Hancock was popular because of Will Smith
Yep.
and the cast that was attached to it. But Fast Color and Slight, I've never even heard of them.
Same.
They're indie films, but apparently they're incredible and they're a limited release. Um, and I might have to end up taking it out. But from 5, because 5 was a borderline where it was like kind of making fun of the culture. and sort of making it like a redemption arc. So 5 was that borderline for me, but from 6 down, they were all horrible representations.
Yeah.
Now let me pull up. Let's see. So Shang-Chi is technically Marvel's first
Yeah.
and only Asian superhero. Like if you look up Asian superhero movies, the only one that's coming up now is Shang-Chi.
Yeah. I
Everything
mean,
else was kind of reduced to a kung fu flick, as they say,
yeah.
um, which kind of goes to show how poorly represented
Yeah.
Asian culture is in
Because
cinema.
if you wanted to see anything close to an Asian superhero, you'd have to watch stuff like Ip Man, which is technically, I mean, at least the first one, technically like a biopic.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and then you'd have Donnie Yen showing up again with God, I can't remember the name. It was like the Man in the Mask or something like that. It was kind of like
Mhm.
uh, they had like an homage to Bruce Lee's time as Kato in Green Hornet.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but I mean, you don't even really when you think Asian superhero, you can't really even think of any of them because
That
there's
have been in mainstream movies? No. Most of
yeah,
them are side characters, and a lot of them are
yeah,
used as jokes or throwaway
yeah,
characters,
yeah.
or they've had their races swapped because
The ancient
the
one.
big the ancient one is one of
Mm-hmm.
them. Another one I can think of is Jubilee from X-Men. She's
Yep.
been race changed I don't know how many different times. Um, actually, let's see. I can actually pull up a list here.
You have Wong,
Um,
who's I think I think now we're gonna see more of Wong kind of playing a more integral
mhm.
role in things. In fact, I saw it was like a fun little fact or whatever. Like, Wong has now with Shang Chi. Wong has now appeared in more movies than DC superheroes have shown in their own titles.
Mhm.
Um, and they're basically saying that it was like the caption underneath it. It's Wong's world. We're just living in it.
Right. But other than a few side characters, the last major, and I say major very loosely, Asian character that was in a prominent role in a Marvel film was Lady Deathstrike from X
Yeah,
Men.
and
Was X Men two?
I wouldn't even consider that a major role.
Mm-mm. It
That's
was a very minor
very
villain role because she
very
was
minor.
in the comics. She has her own storyline against Wolverine, and she was reduced to a side
Yeah,
character, being a pawn in William Stryker's plan.
yeah. Hell,
Um,
I would even say the Kato in the Green Hornet reboot or remake
yep,
is more of a prevalent character than Lady Deathstrike.
facts. We also have Colleen Wing from the Iron Fist TV show.
Yep, yep. They
I
were getting close with that.
They were getting close. The only other, let's say, multi-appearance Asian actor we've had, Jimmy Woo.
Which I am
The
still
MCU.
pulling for a spin-off in the vein of X-Files with Jimmy Woo.
I am pulling for it as well. Um,
I would pay premiere access for that. You hear me, Disney?
oh
You
wow.
hear you is that what you want to hear? I will pay premiere access if you give me the Jimmy Woo files. All right?
Um, but going through this list, it's a list of Marvel's Asian characters, like in their comics, and there's a list of 42 characters. The first comment kind of shows me how people's mindset is towards the Asian community. First comment reads as such, and I'm quoting directly. Wow, out of 42, only 10 are men. Does this mean Marvel has a yellow fetish? Quoted word for word. And this was 4 months ago that this comment was posted. Um, is Wolverine considered an Asian character, or is he Canadian?
He's Canadian.
That's what I thought. Okay. Um,
He spent a lot of time in Japan, but
yeah, he does. He does spend a good bit of his time in
you
Japan.
could venture to say that that comment kind of goes well with Wolverine.
Yeah.
If you look at
Um.
his love interests in the comic books. But no,
Sure.
like that comment. See, so you can tell by my reaction. That is the type of comment that I have heard throughout
A
my
lot.
life, especially with like so my dad, my dad's white, my mom's Asian.
Hmm.
I've gotten that comment a lot, in reference to my dad. Whether or not it's true, I don't fucking care. It's not your
Right.
place to say, and like the fact that people feel that it's okay to say shit like that, it's not okay. And I think that with more of these, I call it like a position of power, because Shang-Chi is arguably a force to be reckoned with in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He is hands down the best fighter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe at this time.
Okay. Cinematic universe. Okay. I was about to
Yeah,
say
I got
because
you.
I mean, if
I
you, yeah,
I
because
read your
on,
wavelengths.
yeah. So it kind of goes into my theories of where I want the Shang-Chi path to go.
Hmm.
I want them to reboot Iron Fist and do
Oh
it
yeah.
proper so that he can have a clash with the Immortal Weapons because
Hmm.
that is a good comic storyline.
Oh yeah. Speaking on that, in the movie, they do mention the fact that Ta Lo is basically a plane of existence,
Mhm.
separate from the universe as we know it. Something of the like of like the TVA,
Well,
in a sense.
So the way they explained Talo when they did that whole like history lesson thing along the wall,
Hmm.
Talo translates to canopy of heaven in their transcriptions, and Kunlun is one of the capital cities of heaven.
Yep.
Is how they explain it. So they've connected the doorway to bring in characters from Iron Fist. Honestly, I think if they were going to pull any of the actors or actresses from the show, they should pull the woman who played Colleen Wing. I think she did a great job. I think she was the uncut gem in that entire series.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, I think if he were exposed to some better writing, the guy who played Danny Rand could potentially do a good job. I
He
didn't hate
could.
him. I
He
didn't hate
could.
him.
I wasn't a fan of the look per se. Because I was dead set on my initial fan casting when they first announced all these Netflix Marvel properties and stuff like that. I had so I actually had Sam Claflin picked for Iron Fist.
Mm,
I had him
okay.
picked for Iron Fist. I actually had Garrett Hedlund for Daredevil.
Okay. I like Charlie
Rampage
Cox for Daredevil.
Jackson for Power Man. Although after seeing God, I can't remember his name. It's Michael something. The previous Power Man, I prefer him.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I do too.
and then, funnily enough, for Jessica Jones, I actually had Anna Kendrick.
Nah, I still stand the fact that Anna Kendrick needs to be Squirrel Girl.
I could see that. I could see that.
It has
Although
to.
after the AT&T girl was supposedly cast as Squirrel Girl, I kind of like that one too.
I just want to see her in another movie. I just want to
What's
see her
that?
in a movie. I just want to see her in a movie.
Right? Like her. I mean, just from the little bits and pieces in the AT&T movie or commercials,
The
I
AT&T movie.
oh, coming this fall, the
Movie
AT&T
theaters.
movie.
AT&T the movie.
Journey into the struggle of logging into their app and trying to pay your phone bill.
The Revenge of LTE.
Oh my god. Oh, fuck.
And the villain is Verizon.
Oh my god, yes, absolutely. They charge way too
Um,
much. But
Facts.
in the vein of representation, let's try and dial back a little bit. What do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want to see more of in the future, as in terms of representation on film?
I want to see. I'd like to see diversification a little bit more. Um, if I'm speaking 100% honestly here, and comment section may crucify me for this, I think everything is way too segregated.
Hmm.
I am very happy that different communities are getting their representation movies. I want to see that representation carried over from director to director because speaking honestly, it's very easy for, let's say, as an example, if we're talking Black Panther, if the black community is handling the film, the cast is black, the crew is black, the director is black, they are handling their culture in their way. But if you pass Black Panther on to another director, let's scrape the bottom of the barrel and say, what if Joss Whedon did a Black Panther film? It would be awful.
Well, that's because he's pretty much already a confirmed racist.
Right. Exactly my point. But like even if you gave it to somebody who was mildly concerned in that aspect, you know? Let's say Joss Whedon before we confirmed that he was a piece of shit. Back when we were all excited that he was doing the Avengers film. If he was handling Black Panther at that time, he probably would have ruined it. He would have ruined his representation or his inclusion in other films. And I want to see other directors be able to handle the characters and storylines that are being put in place with the care that their own communities are handling them, you know? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I follow.
Okay. So like
I like that
I
because
don't I don't want the building blocks that they built with Shang-Chi to be destroyed by giving, like, say if Shang-Chi goes into a movie that's directed by Taika Waititi or James Gunn, and James Gunn just starts to make too many jokes, or Taika goes a little too off the rails, and it's just like, okay, well now Shang-Chi is just kind of a joke. They made him a throwaway character in this movie, even though he had this huge success with his own film. By the time he come back to his next film, he has to do a lot of like damage control and recovery from what another director ruined.
right. So we have
Um,
Husky in chat right here. He says, personally, I would like to see a positive representation of a bigger guy. Thor was nothing but of joke when he was fat Thor. It would be cool to see a bigger character who isn't the comic relief or the easy oh fatty type character. Okay,
I agree.
yeah, I agree with that too.
I'm with him on that one.
Hmm.
It's going to be hard because a lot of characters outside of someone like the Blob,
Right.
who is an anti-villain,
Hmm.
you don't have a lot of those characters. A lot of the other
And
characters
even
are
when the Blob was used, he was basically used as a fat joke.
exactly, and it's upsetting.
Yeah.
A lot of the other characters that we have that are representations of the big guy are like meatheads, like Colossus, Juggernaut, Hulk, characters like that. They're not like the big man, like me or Husky or anybody like that.
I mean,
They're
I think some could argue that Wong could potentially fill that role. He's a
I
little bit
identify
on the
with
heavier
Wong.
side.
I like Husky Wong. I'm good with that. He is a very good representation because he's not used as a joke at all.
Yeah, he's
He's
very
funny in his
serious
he's funny in his own right when he needs to
when he
be.
wants to be,
Exactly.
like singing
And I think
karaoke.
like singing karaoke or tending to Abomination's wounds. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm sidetracking a little bit. Can we talk about the Abomination and Wong thing real quick?
Oh, I know you definitely want to talk on this. What did
I
you
do.
see on the other side of that portal? What did you see
That,
on the other side of that portal?
that was the raft.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And what does that
I,
mean?
I I think Wong is training Abomination to be part of the
Uh-huh.
Thunderbolts.
Uh-huh.
Because he literally said, he's like, you got to learn to hold your punches, like we talked about, like we're training to do. And it's like, okay, he's bringing him to these fight rings to train him.
Yep.
It was a big little Easter egg.
Yep. Dude,
Okay,
it's so, oh my God.
I
Uh
sidetracked a little bit, but let's get back. Let's go
No, that's
back to
that's
it.
totally fine because we didn't really like talk about like the full story of Shang-Chi.
We'll
We're kind of talking about the representation, but we can touch on
we'll do
big
that
moments
on
because
YouTube.
because like I definitely I already geeked out about it on Saturday, but I also it's one of those things where there's never enough. It's one of those movies where it's just like, oh man, like, this part was awesome, this part was awesome. Like, can we talk about Jai Ling and the fucking rope dart? Like,
Oh yeah,
oh my
God,
god,
she was good.
I was watching I can't believe I forgot the actress's name already because I remember I was like looking at her Instagram. I'm like, okay, this is her name, this is her name, this is her name. Forgot her
I didn't
name,
forget her name.
but she was actually showing, like, she had a progress video of her training with, like, it was basically a rope with a tennis ball at the
Uh-huh.
end of it.
It's essentially a
And
meteor
like,
hammer.
yeah, but like it's so cool to watch, like, these actors, they were put through rigorous training, but they got it. and they nailed it. And you
They
see
were
it in this
dedicated.
movie. It's
It
oh my god.
it
You
brings
can
back that.
see it was a passion project too for a lot
Well,
of these people.
it also brings back that sense of culture to like it's like taking it back to their roots because you got to think of
Hmm.
how all the old kung fu stars did it. Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Bruce Lee, all of them. Like they did their stunts themselves. They trained the fights themselves. They learned how to do it so it was realistic and it was authentic. And they brought those elements into this film, and it was successful, and I loved it. Like,
Now,
it,
since we're talking about the movie itself, what was, if you had to narrow it down to one key moment or one key scene, what was your favorite part of this movie?
um, hmm, I want to say, oh man, that's a hard one. I want to say it
Yeah.
was actually. I'm gonna say it was actually the scaffolding fight
Okay. Okay.
because
That definitely ranks up there for me.
it had it was both a combination of knowing that these actors are actually doing this, like this running back and forth thing. Because I looked it up afterwards. I was like, are they actually doing this, or are they on a green screen platform? It's like, no, no, no. They're not on the side of a building, but like they're up in
They
the
were
air.
on like they were like on scaffolding against like a blue screen kind of thing.
Right. With like the green screen floor, but they're
Hmm.
actually like running between levels. The camera work was wonderful. Like I was looking at it like a filmography standpoint as well. The camera work was great. The lighting was nice because it was a dark scene. It wasn't well lit, but you could still tell what was going on. Story wise, it had enough twists and turns between Xialing, Shang-Chi, and Katie, and it was such a good scene. It flowed so well for me.
Yeah. Um,
That was my favorite.
my favorite, and this is gonna be like a very just like typical like. The only reason I like it is the same reason I like the moment in Infinity War when Thor slams down with Stormbreaker, saying "Bring me Thanos." The same reason why I loved Captain America picking up Mjolnir for the first time. It's the end of the movie when Shang-Chi just like blasts the Dweller with the 10 rings, and as he's falling in the sky, like he's like charging it up, and he's like it's like spinning inside the Dweller, and then all of a sudden just shift it, and then just explodes the Dweller. I was like, yo, this
Yeah,
is so hype.
it
I was
was
I
it was
was
hype.
so mad. I was in the theater with a bunch of unlike-minded people because any other time I went to the theater and saw some shit like that, the entire crowd just jumps out of their seat and they're just like, "Fuck yeah!"
I say
I
we
wanted
had
to do that
applause in
so
our
bad.
theater. We had
Oh
applause
my
in our
god.
theater. It was nice.
Yeah. See, those are the moments I live for. That's why I like going to the theaters, for moments like
Hmm.
that when the whole crowd gets. But this crowd, I don't know. Cape Cod's weird, dude.
I
Cape Cod's
mean,
got some weird ass people.
it's Cape Cod.
They got chips.
They got, they, they got chips.
But reeling back, I wanted to touch on something that I want to see more of in the future. So we've touched on, we want to see representation with bigger people, not being the butt end of a joke.
Hmm.
You want to see more diversity as far as other directors handling it the same way. Say Black Panther, how a black director would handle it, or Shang-Chi, how an Asian director would handle it.
Hmm.
Kind of having that sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Continuity in that sense.
Yeah, continuity,
Um,
interconnectivity.
mhm.
That's a
I would
mouthful of
like to
words.
see a little bit more representation as far as like the LGBTQ community.
Hmm.
We've seen Billy in One Division. I would like to see later down the road, Billy ending up with Hulkling, showing that for once. I don't
Yeah,
think we've seen much of any of that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe yet.
yeah.
Um,
They've kind of shifted away from showing like romantic attachments on
which is
screen.
fine. Which is fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with it, but I mean, in certain people's stories, it'll make sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, because like something just as small as like, oh yeah, this is my boyfriend, or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Just like
doesn't
in
get people
passing,
hyped.
because you see like Ant-Man and the Wasp, like towards the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, they're like cuddling on the or no, it was the end of Ant-Man. They're just like, like her head's laying on his shoulder or whatever. We got like a brief moment in Loki where he openly admits that he was bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be nice to see a little bit more of that, just like kind of showing that, it's there. Not necessarily like making a huge spectacle out of it, just like it's there. That it's a thing. It's normal. That's what happens. Because a lot of times, in the past, they would make it a huge deal, and then it'd become this controversial thing. Whereas if you just show that it's normal, just like how it is normal everywhere else, boom, there you go.
Yeah. Husky brings up a good point. Supergirl did a great job, and so did the Arrowverse, and as a whole, they handled the relationships very well. I know it was smaller screen, but I'd like to see Marvel sort of introduce that because they did that with like he said, Dreamer was a character, and then I can never remember her name. Kara's sister. She's openly gay. They did the same thing on Legends of Tomorrow. Sarah Lance is gay. Alex Danvers.
Okay.
Constantine is bisexual. Sarah Lance is bisexual.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing about Sarah.
Yeah, Ava ends up being Sarah's girlfriend, and Ava's actually a clone. Spoilers for that, but I don't know. It's
Judas.
Judas, no clones.
Remember when we thought that Agents of Shield was gonna go the clone route or the life
Yeah,
model decoy?
yeah.
They kind of did for a little bit there. That actually got me
But
excited. Sorry, I'm getting my
I
ADHD
say
kicking in right now.
don't go wild on me now. Don't go rogue.
Yeah,
But
we're getting close to the end
Husky's
here, so I shouldn't.
Husky's point is accurate. Arrowverse handled LGBTQ plus relationships very well. They handled their characters well. It didn't make it a huge part of their identity. And people didn't make a big deal about it. And I think Marvel can get away with doing that because they can do those little things in passing. Like they did with Loki. They mentioned that he's bisexual, and they just kind of, I mean, the LGBTQ community ate it up. I mean, it was all over
Yeah, and it was
TikTok,
great.
Twitter, Instagram, everywhere, and they loved it. But like reviewers, they glanced over it. They didn't care one way or the other. And that's how it should be. You should be able to add those kind of things without people throwing a huge tizzy about it.
Yeah, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
On other than that, I would like to see more diverse characters coming up. I know we have Ironheart coming up. We have
Mm-hmm.
Photon, or is she going to be going by the other name?
I think she's going to be going by Photon.
The Photon or what was it? Fuck. I just know her as Photon, but it was like some like people were saying that she was going to go by the other name because of the weird like frequencies she was seeing when she entered in the hex again. Crap, what was that other name? Anyway, I'm calling her Photon until otherwise told. So I also want to see Amadeus Cho.
Yeah.
We've already seen his mom in Age of Ultron.
True.
So that is there. That
Yes.
that can be a thing. And Disney, if you're looking, I could be Amadeus Cho.
You could.
You could always cast me. I could be the totally awesome Hulk. Just saying. That'd be sick. That'd be sick. Me hulking out, bro. Sign me the fuck up.
I can be background character number 6.
Yeah, I'll only agree to it if Jagger can come with.
I request one line and one action in that film. I request to be in the background when he says something dumb, and I just look over and go, Jesus, facepalm and walk away. It has to be in the film.
Man.
Otherwise, I won't do
it. Husky and Chet says, imagine little Xander becoming a little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger.
Okay, well, on that note, I think it's time that we wrap this up. I think that was a good one. So yeah, this is our first episode, kind of changing up the format here. Well, I mean, Jagger changing up the format a lot over there. It looks like with his nice new background. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us today, and join us next week live here on Twitch as we get down and nerdy with it yet again. Jagger, you wanna go ahead and share some news with everyone else, or are you frozen? Oh my God, he's frozen. What happened to him? Jagger! 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 Jag! Fucking left me. Wait,
I lost internet.
there he is. He's back.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just
I'm here.
leading you up to. I was just leading you up to share what we got else going on here.
Yeah. We've got Otakus Anonymous tomorrow night. They're doing their hip hop and anime episode, and then on Thursday night, Curse Tapes, we are doing some creepypasta reads.
Ooh,
We're gonna do some story time.
ooh, I like that. Do you have any
And then
specific voice mods set for that?
I'm working on something.
Ooh, I like that.
Also,
I like that.
also on Friday, I'm doing a little something special for the viewers in Discord. I'll be showing the new James Wan film *Malignant* in our Discord that night.
Ooh.
It comes out. It
Oh.
comes out in theaters on Friday, and it's on streaming on HBO Max. I will be streaming the movie. I will be setting a time. By the time I go live on Thursday night, I'll have a time set for when we're going to be showing the film.
So I'm thankfully not going to be there for that because I am a little baby when it comes to scary films. But I will be streaming more Destiny, I believe, on that night. I might try and pop in. I might try and pop in.
I'll be joining the Destiny grind after the movie's over.
Okay, you can tell me all about it then.
Oh,
But anyway, if there are any topics you guys would like to see us cover on this channel, please leave a suggestion either in the comments down below or while we're running the show, go ahead and just let us know in chat. Let us know what's going on your minds and if there's anything that you want to see us talk about. Next week, we're going to play it by ear. We're going to see if we might even ask the community, see what you guys want to talk about because we want to get you guys more involved. We loved seeing you guys in chat here today. We want more of that.
Check our socials. We'll post a poll or something about our topics.
Absolutely. So we're gonna have links in the description down below for you YouTube watchers. If you're not watching on YouTube and you're watching live on Twitch, it's somewhere. But yes, if you want to help support us on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. Make that algorithm happy. Make it sway in our direction. Just big YouTube swanging in our direction. But I hope you guys have a great night and stay nerdy, my friends. Bye-bye.
Bye.